Every year, at certain points, ants will let unmated queens and males take to the sky. The vast majority die in the process, falling victim to predation or environmental dangers. Of the survivors that manage to dig claustral chambers, a small fraction are strong enough to raise a prolific and powerful colony. As an ant keeper, chances are you won't find a queen that'll produce a mature colony, but rather rescuing a queen from a likely death. In this video, I will tell those stories. This colony is classified under the genus Aphenogaster. This queen's death was imminent before I found her, since I found her inside a bucket of water. I fished her out and put her in a dry test tube, and within minutes she revived and shed her wings. It took about a week for her to lay eggs. Aphenogaster is strange, since unlike ants that fly earlier in the season, they don't have genetics before hibernation, but also unlike ants that fly later in the season, they don't lay eggs after hibernation. Instead, Aphenogaster lays eggs that will very slowly develop into larvae by the time November rolls around. The amount of time between laying and November, about 2 to 3 months, is more than enough time for workers to develop. So why can't Aphenogaster produce nanitics in the first year? Ants are cold-blooded, so when the temperature drops, the eggs and queen become a lot less active. Early spring the next year, the larvae become pupae when the temperature starts rising again. This colony is of the genus Lasius. The queen is the only successful queen out of a batch of Lasius I found last year. Of the unsuccessful ones, 2 turned out to be unmated and died shortly after coming out of hibernation. The ones who laid were all terrible mothers except one, and the only good mother happens to be the queen of this colony. She more than makes up for the shortcomings of her peers with this good amount of eggs. I feed them honey, which they devour. They do eat mealworms, but aren't as voracious or fast-growing as some species. As you can see in this video, one very interesting detail is that the larvae move similar to maggots. I found both of these ants at the beach. These queens have one thing in common, where they lay many eggs provided the nutrition. They are also quantity over size queens. I suspect this is because of better environmental factors while growing up. Ants do need some salt. Mainland ants don't really get that much. Salt is an essential electrolyte that may be the reason these queens are stronger. I have another Formica colony which seems to prioritize size over amount, which I found inland. In my opinion, quantity over size seems to be a better strategy, since these queens lay more eggs than larger species. Smaller larvae require less nutrition, and eggs take less time to develop. A swarm of small ants can almost always overpower a singular large ant. This behavior can also be seen on my Tetramorium colony, whose worker size only increased after the worker count increased, and isn't afraid of making smaller workers. In conclusion, most queens die because of one reason or another. If they manage to found a colony, they have varying levels of strength, which is most likely due to genetics or environmental factors, and is a predictor of the colony's success.